Call the roll, please.
Councilman Samaluka.
Yes, here.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Here.
Councilman Halco.
Here.
Councilman Camilleri.
Here.
Council President Conti.
Here. Please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all council members on March 8th, 2013, in all legal newspapers in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
The public is hereby advised that any statements made during the meeting of the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook may not be privileged or protected, and that persons or entities who take issue with such comments or are offended by same may and have in the past sought legal redress through the courts. Any member of the public who addresses the council speaks for themselves and not for the council.
Okay, before we open up to the public, we have a woman here for the gun law. So, Mayor, please.
Thank you, Council President. I'm very pleased to have had an advocate for gun control law approach the Township of Saddlebrook. And she's here this evening, and as we all have read the paper and the tragedy in Connecticut. And at this time, I'd like to introduce Linda Bennett and ask her to come up here so that she can inform the public of the group's work.
Thank you, Mayor Chamberlain. I'm here representing myself in Saddlebrook, but I'm also a member of the Bergen County Coalition to Prevent Gun Violence. In January, just a month after the horrendous massacre of the children and the staff in Newtown, Connecticut, a bunch of us got together. We just sent out an email and said, if you are appalled, if you can't take it anymore and want to take some sort of action, please come and meet. And we had over 50 people show up for that meeting. We've had another meeting in February, another in March. In the meantime, starting in January, what we did agree that each of us would try to go to our own town council meetings and ask our elected officials to advocate for legislation that will be common sense, that we can all get behind, that will plug some of the holes in the gun laws that allow people who are mentally unbalanced, like Adam Lanza, not to have access to guns, hopefully, that will prevent the purchase and use of illegal guns. Right now, somebody who owns a gun shop is going to ask a buyer for information so they can do a check on the buyer. A gun shop owner has to be responsible and the person buying has to be responsible. But anybody else can go online. They can have private sales. There's no requirement for universal gun checks, even though 80% of Americans in polls have indicated they want to do this. So the particular resolution that I brought, I want to read it quickly for you. The resolution is in support of legislative and other initiatives to promote public safety by reducing gun violence. Whereas the epidemic of gun violence is spreading unchecked in cities, suburbs, and rural areas across the United States, and whereas in the 1 month since 20 school children were murdered in Newtown, Connecticut on December 14th, more than 900 Americans, including children, were slain by people with guns. Whereas there is a growing revulsion among the residents of Saddlebrook, New Jersey, and other Bergen County towns towards this violence. And whereas we are cognizant of our duty as an elected council to protect the safety and security of our friends and neighbors who have trusted us with the opportunity to serve them. Therefore, be it resolved that our mayor, Karen Chamberlain, shall join the more than 900 mayors who have to date joined the nationwide Mayors Against Illegal Guns. You may have heard of it. This group is co-chaired by Mayor Bloomberg of New York and Mayor Thomas Menino of Boston. And there are more than 18 mayors locally that belong to Mayors Against Illegal Guns. The second point, by copy of this resolution, we will convey to the federal government and to our elected senators and representatives our support of the plan to end gun violence outlined by President Barack Obama and Vice President Joseph Biden on January 16th. And you may be aware, the Senate Judiciary Committee just approved out of the committee the universal gun check law. Of course, it has to go to the full Senate, but the Judiciary Committee did approve it. Next, by copy of this resolution, we will convey to Governor Chris Christie and to our elected state senator and assembly members our support of the legislative initiatives proposed by Senate Majority Leader Loretta Weinberg and others, a summary of which is attached, along with such other legislative initiatives as may be introduced to strengthen New Jersey's laws promoting safe and responsible ownership of guns. Then lastly, it asks the council, we will from time to time revisit the issue of gun violence for the purpose of considering further measures to help end the plague of gun violence in our community. So this resolution doesn't specifically say vote for this or vote for that. It says elected officials, state, federal, local, we've got to do something. And I speak to you from my heart. I've got little grandkids, a 5-year-old, a 20-month-old. I looked at them and I saw the kids in Newtown. And I can't let it go. So I'm hoping you will agree, and I'm hoping that you council members will agree. This should be nonpartisan. It should be everybody from the ground up saying, do something.
Thank you so very much. And I guess you can see by virtue of the applause, Linda, that you really hit home, and you're certainly going to have my support, and I can't speak for the council, but I believe their support also, and we appreciate you being here this evening.
Thank you.
And for your continued support throughout the program. And if you would like, at any point in time in the future, to return to the council as you're going along through your meetings with the group that you're involved with, keep us up to date, and we can have the public up to date at the council since it's taped for the TV.
I will be glad to do that, and I should say we've had 8 towns so far who have passed this resolution. The most recent was Ridgewood last night. They include Fairlawn, Closter, New Milford, Teaneck. I don't know the whole list, but I know for sure that it's 8, and it's being proposed in many other towns.
Well, thank you. For the sake of the mic, Linda just pointed out how many towns are now involved, and she will be visiting us again. And if there's any organizations out there, I have her contact information if you'd like to bring her into your group meetings to further the cause that we're fighting. At this time, I'm very proud to see so many purple shirts in the audience. And I have to speak a little bit about it being the month of March, and it's usually noticing the women in history. Now, these women, and I will be calling everyone up very shortly, I'd just like to give a little bit of background. This is the Saddlebrook Women's Club, newly formed in September 2012. It's wonderful that we have them. They are going to be assisting us at the Easter egg hunt and Easter bonnet parade. They'll be the judges, but they're also going to help serve as the breakfast for the children. which is the 30th of March at the Senior Center from 9 to noon. So please join us, and you'll have an opportunity to work with some great women. I attended one of their meetings. I joined the organization. Unfortunately, sometimes my schedule doesn't always permit me to be there. But I think I'd like to point out a few items which I'd like to read from the causes that they are supporting. Most importantly, this being Women's Month, March, they're supporting the Domestic Violence Against Women, the Betty Torricelli Foundation, which I'm hoping later on perhaps the President can give us more information on, and definitely local school college scholarships. They're supporting the Saddlebrook Little League Challenger Division, the ambulance corps and the fire departments, as well as they're working with autism and building homes for heroes, and the Bergen County Association of Retarded Citizens Group, as well as one of their members is the Italian language teacher in our schools, so they're looking to promote the Italian language in the elementary school level. And they also do holiday gifts for numerous needy families in town. So as you can see, they have a very, very long agenda, but I know the women from town are such hard workers, as most are in Saddlebrook, once they have a cause that they want to work for. They do meet at the Senior Center the first Tuesday of the month, and their meetings start at 7:15, and they usually run about 2 hours. Very well-organized meetings. They have small break-off committees, so if someone's interested in one thing and another person is interested in another category, you can join and help out. So we'll be seeing a lot of them throughout town, and I'm hoping to say this meeting is also a good membership drive to make the town aware of the group of ladies that we have. At this time, I'd like to call up the President, Antonio Longo. And Antonio, I'm leaving the responsibility to you to expand further on the group, and then to call up your ladies here, because I do have certificates of recognition.
Okay, great. Okay. Like the mayor said, we are involved with many different groups. Betty Torricelli, we give them a donation every year, and they will ask us what we want the money to go for. I think last year we told them it was for, training or teaching for women with breast cancer that don't have any insurance. So we do that, and we also give out the scholarships. We're having a big fundraiser April 25th at the Fiesta. If anybody's interested, it's $50 a ticket. We have a sit-down dinner, a tricky tray, and a show. We have a celebrity impersonator who will be performing at the tricky tray. And all the money we raise goes to different charities. So if any women out here in Saddlebrook are interested, it's open to everyone. Okay?
Do you want to call up?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have the names in order, so.
Oh, okay.
Each of the ladies will be receiving a certificate of recognition from the Township of Saddlebrook.
Okay. The first one is mine. Oh, all right. Okay. Come one row at a time.
Say their names.
Hi, I'm Christine Way.
Celia Basile. Marilyn Falbo.
Jackie Olivetti.
Maria Vullo.
Susan Dunn.
Hi, Jean Cook.
Jean.
Teresa Calley.
Diana Cunningham.
Maria DeSalvo. Paula Bernstein.
Ladies, we are so proud to have you as the newest, one of the newest groups in Saddlebrook, truly. And you know you have the town's full support in all the projects you do, and you will be called on very frequently. We have a lot of activities going on in town, and we're very grateful. So on behalf of a grateful, again, community and the Township Council and myself, good luck, God bless you in all your endeavors. May everybody stay safe and healthy, and have a very, very good fundraiser at the fiesta. It's going, please, and anyone like to get up to the mic and add anything, please do.
We actually have 28 members. Unfortunately, many of them couldn't be here tonight, but we do have a pretty big membership, and we're always looking for more.
Thank you, ladies, and it's really a nice social group also. It's a hard-working group, but it's a great social group. A lot of new friends you will make. So thank you for making March special in Saddlebrook. God bless. Good luck.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Can we take a picture with you, Karen? Sure.
Sure.
I know.
One more, just in case.
Thank you.
Excuse me, women, before you leave, Ms. Mazer would like to say something?
Yes. Hi, ladies. I'd like to, I know that the mayor mentioned some of your accomplishments, but 2 weeks ago I had the opportunity to be a judge with the women, the ladies, the women, the women's club, okay? And it was a great experience. We attended each grammar school for quite a few hours each school, and they were judges along with myself and for the Carnival event. And it was from kindergarten to grade 5, and all the children participated in making their masks, and they were so proud to parade around in front of us, but it was the hardest thing, as I know you girls could attest to, judging them. If we could have given to everyone, we would have. But that was another beautiful accomplishment that they did. And I applaud you all. And I too went to their installation dinner. I have all plans on joining, but with the conflict of the council meetings, because they were on Monday night at one point, and then we changed them to Tuesday. But I fully support you, and I thank you for all your community service that you all do. Thanks again. You're welcome.
For those who don't know, your event is on a Thursday evening at the Fiesta. Do you have a phone number or a website that they can go to in order to get information on tickets? So, if you could announce it, so this way it'll be replayed throughout this month.
Yeah. It was in the community. In today's community news, you have all the information on how to obtain tickets. They posted it on the, actually, the cover page, on the inside cover page.
But by the time this gets to air, people might throw it out. So if you know the number or you have a website, if you could do it again, if you give her a newspaper, maybe she could read it out. And we'll be posting it on the TV station, but if, it's on there already?
No, we didn't
Okay.
post it, no, the mic is on.
Yeah, you can actually call me, Maria Vullo, and my cell number is 201-978-8096, and I'll be happy to help you with tickets. 201-978-8096, and the impersonator show is Joan Rivers, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And we are also looking for membership, so please feel free to call me on that too as well. Thank you.
Also, ladies, if you can email Pete Ludico a flyer, this way I can
Oh,
get it on
yeah,
the
okay.
television station for you.
Yes, that would be
So
great.
if you
We
can do that,
have
we'll get it on
flyers.
as soon as we receive it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
Anthony, I'll bring it to Pete tomorrow.
Okay.
I need a motion to open up to the public, please.
Motion.
You want to take a 2-minute break? Let's go right. Need a motion to open up to the public, please?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Samuka, second by Ms. Mazur. The meeting is now opened up to the public.
John Cook, former councilman, 20 Lee and Hart Court. I have two things I would like to present. Number one, I must commend the DPW for the fantastic job that they did with snow plowing in February, the heavy snow that we had. They did a fantastic job. Secondly, we had our first, I'm the mayor's representative for the county committee redevelopment at the county. Anthony and I went to the first meeting, and we set up the, excuse me, the new agenda. And we also understand that hopefully by the end of this month, our next meeting is the 26th, that we will have an amount of money to be dispersed between 8 communities from the federal government. As you know, the past 2 years, the federal government cut us 37%. We are now down to approximately $1,200,000 to divide between 8 communities. We are hoping that with the 2 projects that we put in, that we will be able to get everything that we're asking for. And I will have more at the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cook.
May I? Which?
Yes. Excuse me 1 second. 1 second. Let's just,
I guess we got to put these. And I just want to commend Anthony and John for getting us $37,000 to be used for the barrier-free access at Veterans Field. You're going to see in the agenda, we're bonding $90,000, but half of that is going to come from what they did at the county level, and the rest is going to be from capital improvements. So I thank you for all the work that you did on behalf of the township.
Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez, please.
Good evening, everybody. And congratulations all. Thank you, Council President, for acknowledging me. Omar Rodriguez, former Council President. Would like to just ask you, are we under the 10-minute rule? No?
Yes, we are.
All right. The only reason I'm just bringing it up, you're the new Council President, and I believe that that's not the proper way, like I've been studying in the past. When you guys talk of actually respond me, you combine all your time and it's more than 10 minutes. You wait to the end of the meeting just to respond me instead of debating me with ideas. And that's what democracy is all about, to debate me with ideas, not with attacks when the meeting is actually closed. So I will ask you respectfully to reconsider that for the benefit of the town, because a lot of issues, and some of them very present issues, are going on that I cannot elaborate in less than 10 minutes. And the homeowners, especially the homeowners, have the right to educate themselves on what are they going to expect with those new letters that arrive on them in the mail. And I believe that I have the right as a taxpayer to explain myself, not be redundant on the same subject, but actually ask you or at least elaborate on such particular subject that is actually killing a lot of the people that cannot pay the taxes. So they have to know what is coming. So are we still in the 10 minutes?
We're still under the 10-minute
Okay.
rule.
If that is the case, then I'm just gonna ask you to basically respond to my idea, to my questions, and if you don't respond, I gotta guess that you do not know the answer. And at least just be respectful and just answer me when I have to ask you a question if you know or not the answer. Anyhow, can I request the minutes of an alleged meeting that took place in reference to our recreation department, in which apparently 3 or more elected officials and others were present at such meeting? Is it correct?
The meeting that was here was not an official meeting. There was no 3 council person at one time, and when there was, the other council person stepped out, so it was not a formal meeting.
Okay, so I have to guess that it was a meeting of the minds, or it was just a coincidence, but what you're just saying right now, Council President, it is that you acknowledge it on the record that at one point it was 3 elected officials under the Sunshine Law. I can ask through Oprah and request information on such meeting. Then again, I just want to put it on the record, then legally, I will just put it in writing, but by your words right now, at one point, it was 3 elected officials.
No, no, sir.
Excuse me.
No, sir.
Council President, excuse me. If I may, Council President, I just hope that at the end of the day, this doesn't cost money, and lots of money, to the taxpayers of Saddlebrook. Following it up, Ordinance 1545-13. On the agenda, first reading, accepting Mayhill Street. Why do we have to accept it? What are we getting in return? At least we should get a turf field and a fire truck from the owners of such private road. I just noticed it on the agenda that is a surplus that we're going to use for repairs on Veterans Field. Why not to make the private road owners to pay for a complete turf field? We, the taxpayers, are gonna have to pay for maintaining such road if we accept that dedication. Let me remind you, in the past when I was sitting up there, just to open one lane called the project on Mayhill Street, the bridge, to make more clear. In order for the company to close both sides of the bridge, they clear Sampson Street for free. Because they will finish the job faster, they will get their money faster, but it was a win-win situation for the town. We allow them because we save hundreds of thousands of dollars on clearing Sampson Street and leveling the field. Just for your information. So, once again, I'm going to ask you not to bother on accepting this dedication. I'm not going to go to the details, what is behind this. But please, do yourself a service unto the town by either tabling that ordinance tonight or just to knock it down. Because all what it's going to cost is hundreds of thousands of dollars to maintain such road. And I don't have the time to go into details, but then again, look into that. Also, on the same agenda, tax appeals, State Court, Resolution 711, states that several commercial properties will be receiving tax refunds. Council President, what is the total amount of these tax refunds?
Which ones are you talking about? There was quite a few. There was...
Resolution 711, sir.
Okay. Oh, give me 1 minute, please.
Sure. We're voting on that tonight.
Mr. Mulestock, you have that answer.
Well, I don't have the total on each resolution. As each resolution was adopted by the governing body, each resolution indicated how much the refund was. So if I'm looking at the resolution. I haven't added it. I haven't added it up. If you want me to add it up and indicate it later, I'll be happy to add it up now.
Is that okay, Mr.
Is that okay,
Rodriguez?
Mr. Rodriguez? I'll add those up. They're in the resolution. We're talking about Resolution 313?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can add those up. You want me to add those up for you, Mr. Rodriguez?
I know how to add up if you will provide me with the numbers.
I'll add it
The
up right now.
situation right now, the problem right now is that we, the taxpayers, have the right to know what's happening in town, who is gonna foot the bill. We, the homeowners. You guys are going to vote on that tonight. If I would be sitting there, I would have asked, what is the total amount of those refunds? However, in the meantime, the gentleman is going to take his minute or so to add up all these amounts that I don't have in front of me. Let me ask you again. Not long ago, with the stroke of a pen, the council reduced the assessment value of one commercial property in North Midland Avenue by $2 million.
Yeah.
Are any of these tax-related core judgments related to this property? If so, are these new
related to
refund?
what property? I don't understand. Related to what property?
Excuse me, sir. I don't want to be mean or
I can't-
whatever. No, I'm just speaking to the council
I
president.
understand. I do the tax appeal work for the township. And for me to answer your question, I have to know, I don't understand what you're saying.
Excuse me, sir, with all respect. My elected official is the council president as well as the council members. They are the ones that vote on that with a stroke of a pen.
Right.
They reduced $2 million not long ago on a commercial property in North
Right.
Milton Avenue.
That's right. And if you tell me what property, I'll answer the question for you. Because I was the one
Council
that
President,
recommended
if
it.
I may, Council President, one more time. Like I said at the beginning, you're not giving me the privilege of the time. So I respectfully will have to, please. If you don't remember, that is fine. The only
I do
question.
remember.
Oh, you remember. Okay, go
No,
ahead, Council President.
I'm giving you your 10 minutes to speak. That's what I remember. That's what I thought you were getting at. Okay? Take your time to speak. We'll answer your questions. We'll write them down, and then if I have to defer them over to Mr. Mulestock, I will.
All right. So the question will be, if any of these commercial properties that are listed on Resolution 7 and 11 tonight are also one of the ones that not long ago, with a stroke of a pen, you reduced the assessment value by $2 million? That is the question. Now, we just received a letter in the mail with the new 2013 assessment of our properties with not rate included yet. However, it doesn't mean that our taxes will be lower. Just for the viewers, right now, your home, in average, was assessed at $350,000. You were paying $1, just for sake of argument, $1 per each $100 of those $350,000. Now, the assessment value of your home has been reduced to $250,000. But the rate will not be at $1. Now the rate will be at $1.50. So I want you just to be aware, because a lot of talk on the streets that the taxes will come down, and it will not come down. The same as the water bills. They told us that the water bills will become quarterly to help us. But it was not to help us. It was just to increase the water rates so we don't feel the pinch. But if you add up, the water bill are much higher. Lastly, on
No,
closing.
thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Your time limit is up. Thank you. I
So
let
we
you-
have
I-
to add up then the time that
He's going to answer you, but I gave you...
Council President.
Yes, sir.
It's just one line on 2 days ago. It is a line item that it says that you will be discussing the 2012 budget because it was transfers. We are in March 2013. Can you please explain to the public why are we discussing 2012 budget transfers? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you want me to respond?
Yes,
to him?
please.
All right, Mr. Rodriguez, the total of the refunds that are payable pursuant to Resolution 313, approximately $400,000. I should note that, and I took over Saddlebrook's tax appeals, defense of the tax appeals, at the beginning of the year, 2012. So it's been 1 year. And I will tell you that a lot of Saddlebrook's problems when I took over was because the prior administrations didn't handle their tax appeals for four or 5 years. So a lot of what is being funded and being handled by the council now came from the fact of 2008's, 2009's, and 2010 appeals. These are not 2011 and 2012 refunds. These tax appeals go back 5 and 6 years in some cases. So that is why these amounts are high, and there's no question about it. These are refunds that are over 5 and 6 years, starting in 2000. Some cases go back to 2006. Okay? So so everyone understands, and the public understands what we're talking about. We're not talking about current. We're talking about going back 5 and 6 years in some cases. Okay? But the amount, yes, the amount being funded pursuant to Resolution 313 is about $400,000.
Council President, may I rebuttal? Because I do
No,
not agree with
it's not
this.
rebuttal.
No.
There's no
Okay,
rebuttal.
That's fine. No, that's fine. That's your prerogative, but just keep in mind that when you guys respond, you took longer than what you expect me to speak up so many subjects in 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just, Rich, through the chair, before somebody else gets up there, I'd just like to
Should
ask
be 1
Mr.
minute.
Millstock a question.
Yes.
Is this council meeting a debate?
No.
Or is it a meeting?
No. Public
thank you.
participation, public makes statements. Council doesn't entertain dialogue. That's not what the purpose is. People can get up and make their statements.
Thank
It's
you.
not supposed to be give and take or debates.
Mr. D'Arminio?
Boy, I'm glad I'm on this side of the microphone. Lou D'Arminio, former mayor, Saddlebrook. I actually came down to pay my water bill.
I'll take it.
But I'm
I'll be happy to
pleasant.
take it on.
I'm pleased that Saddlebrook is undertaking the gun control issue here. Having been on the receiving end of some people with guns, I'm certainly an advocate. I can't understand why people have to have military weapons all the time going around in these communities. So I'm happy that this subject was broached here tonight. It was a good topic to bring up. I would certainly support something of that nature. And I want to thank you for your service to the community. I know those seats get hot at times, having been there. But I did come down for my water bill, and as it was widely reported in the Bergen Record just a few days ago, United Water is going to raise raise their fees by 18%. Now, under the previous administration, my administration, United Water raised their rates something in the order of about 46% in a 3-year period. So you wonder how the water rates and the water deficit gets up there is that if you don't raise it 18%, if you don't hit the taxpayers with an 18% increase, you either got to take that money out of the surplus or you're going to have to raise the taxes in a water account by 18%. So what I'm asking for this council to do, and Mayor, for you to do, is what I wanted to do at the time we were going through this issue with United Water, is take them to task. You got good counsel. You got someone who is knowledgeable in this field with Brian Chakowski and Mr. Mulstock to take them to the BPU, which is the Board of Public Utilities, and fight the 18% increase that United Water wants to hit on these communities. And maybe the council and the mayor, you can go with a resolution to go to these other municipalities and get other mayors to go down to the BPU and fight it also. What happens all too often is that nobody fights these people. They schmooze everybody, they come in here, and I know, Mayor, you made a deal with United Water. I was going to take them to court. I wouldn't accept a 46% increase, and we were fighting United Water during that period of time, because this is how it starts. I don't think you struck your budget yet, right,
No.
Mr. President?
No.
What they did to us was they raised these rates after we already struck our budget. So obviously, the water account is going to be underfunded by that percentage. And that's what the concern you have to face, but you already know that. So I'm asking that you at least take them to task and fight them with BPUA when they have the BPU when they have their public hearings. Other than that, I want to thank you for the time and congratulate all the ladies who got their awards today, and again, the gun control issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This week.
I'm gonna go spend.
Not much this time.
I know, mine was cheap.
Anyone else like to be heard? Please state your name and address.
How you doing, Michael Accomando, 33 Welcome Road. I have a complaint about the garbage pickup. On Wednesdays and Saturdays, instead of dumping the pails into the trucks, they're just taking the bags. And if this was the summertime, these pails would be loaded with maggots, and it would stink really bad. Just want to know if we can do something about having them dump the pails instead of just taking the top bag out.
Actually,
Thank you.
we'll take care of it. Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard?
Larry Tychek, 92 Claremont Ave. Through the chair, I guess through the mayor. A couple of months ago, I asked you about the Mayhill Street, the road, about how it was going to be dedicated, and I asked you to make sure that you looked after us, and I can't see how we're going to just give something away like that with that value. We should get something in return for it. And I did mention one to get a field turfed or whatever. I mean, in today's world, you don't give anything away, especially when it has a value like that to the property owner. And I'm sure that property owner could afford it, and he's gonna get the best of the deal. Because without that road, I'd like to know if it was discussed or if we're just gonna give it away.
The Mayhill extension you're talking
Yes.
about, Larry? That we're...
Well, I don't know if you're gonna give any other roads out, but that's the one that's on here.
Well, East Mayhill, yes, we're gonna have a resolution tonight on that, correct?
The council on tables.
But I mean, are we gonna get something for it, or are we just giving it away?
Well, Bob, you can answer, Bob can answer that, because we did...
I guess I can answer them. I don't want to play attorney tonight, because some people...
Don't play attorney, but
I mean, it's, what it is, basically, there's a development there, as you know. It was a Home
Right.
Depot prior, it's vacant. The A&P is there, the light is at the intersection. There's a stub that comes off that we still call Mayhill Street. What we made the developer do at this point is take the road and bring it back into a new condition. Anybody that's gone to the A&P prior to that, you'd lose a hubcap, a wheel, your teeth would rattle as you're leaving. That's done. What has to happen, though, if this developer decides to say, we're gonna sue the community for you to take it, in my opinion, I'm not an attorney, but based on some of the case that's out there, he'll win. The town will lose, the town will have to defend himself, and at the end of the day, the town will have to pick up the responsibility of maintenance. It is a road, and it was built to municipal standards. Now, I could be 100% wrong, but
Like I say, I've
don't
never
think
heard of anything like that. Other towns, you always get something when they're giving something away.
Well, what it is,
I thought, Bob...
Larry, what it is, they're paying taxes. They're a taxpayer.
Right.
Just similar to anybody in this room that lives on a street that's maintained by the town. You're a taxpayer.
Right.
The town is obligated to provide services.
If
you
it's a
don't-
township road, if it's a regular road.
Regardless if it's a township road. There was
Well, the mayor has a situation where she has a road also, and, I mean, is that gonna be the next one? Are we just gonna
if
take these things in
if these
and not
people,
us?
if these people petition the town has two choices.
Yeah, but
One,
it doesn't work that way in any other town.
I disagree, it does.
It does.
It
I
does.
disagree with that.
I'm
The other
in
towns
River
always
Ridge,
wind up
I'm in
to
River
get
Ridge for
something.
many years.
Okay, let's go, I don't wanna kill a lot of time. Also on that road, there was major work being done on that road. Okay, I mean, and I'm a homeowner. If I'm gonna do something, I have to get a permit, or if it's not legit or whatever, I gotta come in front of the zoning board or whatever. There was major work done on that road, that the town was notified, they didn't know who was working on it, no permits were issued, and the job was stopped. How do we know that that work, and who inspected it, and how do we know the work that they did on that road is up to standards?
We did.
And we did, but
My firm did.
after we called the town.
Absolutely not.
Mr. Lodica, you didn't know anything about it.
1,000%
I'm
incorrect.
telling you, I made the phone call, and I said to Mr. Lodica, what's going on at Mayhill? As far as we know, nothing. And there was excavators there, they were ripping curbs out,
There's-
ripping sidewalks out.
there was a-
Going and tapping into water
No, there
mains and
was-
stuff like that.
Prior to
Nobody
that,
knew nothing.
no, that's incorrect. Prior to that, there was discussion with Boswell Engineering. They represented the developer. There were plans previously approved many, many years ago. Those plans were implemented years ago. What was done.
How long are they good for? Many, many years ago.
No, the road is there.
Right.
What we
But
made
the
them
work-
do is
the work
fix
was
it to a
done
municipal standard.
Without notifying the town or coming in
Absolutely,
for?
absolutely not.
I wasn't aware of it, but I contacted the engineer's office.
No question.
Well, you weren't aware of the work being done?
When you called me now.
No, but there was work being done, there was no permits issued?
There's no question it was
Yes or
working.
no?
There was probably in excess of $150,000 worth.
Well,
of
I
work.
don't know, because then permits were issued then.
I don't think I'm on that Christmas list for a car this year. That I can tell you.
No, I don't, like I said, it's just, the whole thing doesn't smell right. And once, again, it's one of these deals that don't, we're getting back to it here again. We know who the developer is, we know who the property owner is, and once again, it's a town paper again. And they constantly benefit, and the town gets the short end of the stick. We should have that field turf for our kids, and take a chance on it. We're gonna pay for the field anyway, whether or not. Let's let the guy pay for it, or who's getting the benefit, and who's gonna benefit from that road. And we'll take our chances that way. But you just can't give things away. You can't do it. In today's economy, and like I said, we're gonna maintain that road for the rest of the life of Saddlebrook.
Yeah, but
And what other roads are coming down the road? How many more are we gonna acquire?
But while the township will maintain the road going forward, the properties have street access, which is, as Bob said, better than just rubble.
Well, that's his problem.
No, but those, the fact that they have street access and the other properties, which have their back on front on Market.
So who's
Street,
benefiting from that?
I think the
town or the
township,
deve-
I
or
think
the
the
property
township
owner?
would,
The
because
property
those
owner. The property owners are
The
benefiting.
properties are gonna
Increase in
be
value,
more
right,
valuable.
because you have better access.
And we're gonna.
So let them
And they're
compensate the
not,
town.
and they're gonna be paying taxes
Let them
based on.
compensate the town in the meantime,
Okay.
just like other
They're gonna be
towns
paying
get.
taxes based upon
Right, but
the
let's get something up
increased
front.
or enhanced values.
If I own this piece of paper and you want it, should I just give it to you so you could read it, or would you buy it if you wanted it?
Was there a payment? I thought there was a payment made. Brian told me that there was some payment made.
I don't know.
No?
That's the other thing I don't know, is if Mr. Chakowski is involved with any dealings with the landowner. I definitely think there's a conflict there. And I know he was involved with dealings with that property owner.
He had
or-
nothing to do with the deal that was struck between the township
But
and
did he
and the
ever
owner.
represent that property owner?
No, he did in the past, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he had nothing to do with doing this transaction. Our only involvement was on the ordinance preparation, the ordinance introduction. We're very careful
Well, the
about
only thing I'm
that.
saying is just, like I said, the mayor said she would the town would be looked after and we would be taken care of. And we can't, obviously tonight we're gonna give it away because she wasn't prepared to give it away. I mean, Mr. Halko had some doubts about it last week or last month, and Mr. Chakowski was like, oh, no, it's okay, and Mr. Halko was the only one that stood up and said something about it. That he wanted more information, and how many more streets is this gonna happen to? What answers did you find out about that, Mr. Halko, through the chair?
I sent, Rich, through the chair?
Yes.
I sent Mr. Chakowski an email. I sent it to Pete, and Pete forwarded it to Mr. Chakowski. I had several questions, and Mr. Mulestock, you're supposed to have the answers for my questions tonight. I believe Brian said at our work session on Tuesday.
Well, the only answer that Brian gave me is, if this was one of your questions, taxes will not change on the properties as a result.
After we close, I'll go through my questions again, and if you can answer them.
Fine.
You'll give the answers later on?
Yeah,
After,
I mean,
okay.
I don't want to use your time up.
Okay, and on resolution number 14, why is that removed from the consent agenda? It's not part, resolution 14 is not part of the consent agenda.
That's it's, Mr. Simaluka abstained, so.
Mr.
Mr. Simaluka
Abstains, yes.
from that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sylvia Zottarelli, 232 Lanza Avenue. I want to piggyback off of Mr. Accamundo with the garbage. They don't dump the pails. They just take whatever they see on top. Recyclables, last week, I had a half pail and they didn't empty them because they didn't see anything. That's number one. Number two, on the Sampson Street and Caldwell lights, are you going to be putting street signs as to the
Yes.
cross street you turn
Thank you.
onto?
We actually have a walkthrough, it's either Thursday or Friday of this coming week, or next week rather.
Okay,
And all of these little issues will be straightened out.
okay. And last, based on something, I'm sorry, I don't know this gentleman's name.
Mulstock.
Just said, as
I'm
far
Mr.
as-
Chakowski's partner.
Okay, as far as a conflict with the property owner, who I don't know who it is, but you made a comment that he just prepared a contract and it's not a
No,
conflict.
he didn't prepare the contract. Did not. He had
Okay.
nothing, I said he had, his only involvement was with the ordinance
Okay.
going forward.
What is the difference between that and Mr. Simaluka going to work for a firm that we had an attorney that had to recuse himself from the case? Isn't it the same situation?
I don't know the case, Mr. Simaluka, so I can't answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to be heard? Seeing none, I need a motion to close. Motion?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Camilleri, second by Ms. Mazer. All in favor?
Through the chair, please.
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment while the attorney's here. I've had a few people up here this evening saying with this Mayhill Street Road that we should get something back. My question to the township attorney is, because I'm not used to operating that way as your mayor, does that mean the expectations are for the mayor to speak to a developer and say, okay, if you give us the money for the field, we'll get you the votes for what you want? In my book, that's illegal, and I will not do it. And I'm making that as a public statement because two people here this evening, when it came to the Mayhill Street, the fact of the matter was that, again, this goes back to the comments from another resident about the tax appeals. You people know that Home Depot, we all live here, has been vacant. What happened when it closed? Our own people lost jobs, okay? Saddlebrook has vacancies. Yes, we're in need of funding backlogged tax appeals. Well, how do you think we're going to get there? We have to make improvements to the community to attract new business. With new business comes less tax appeals and employment. And it also entices other firms from other towns to look at Saddlebrook in a different light as a business-friendly community. And when this happens, eventually, when a budget is struck, it affects every one of us taxpayers in Saddlebrook. Because if the reduction of tax appeals goes down and levels off, our taxes won't have to be increased and we wouldn't be within that burden. So those are my answers. And letting the public know, I don't play any games with any developers out there, and I would never expect any kind of donation by virtue of a request from this person that sits here and represents you. Thank you.
the ordinances, ordinance 1543-13.
An ordinance amending Chapter 133 entitled Noise, Section 6 entitled Sound Level Limits Exemptions to include home generators for second reading.
Need a motion? Motion. Motion by Mr. Simaluka. Second by Ms. Mazur. Roll call.
Councilman Simaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halko?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
An ordinance amending Chapter 133 entitled Noise, Section 6 entitled Sound Level Limits Exemptions to include home generators.
I need, open up to the public.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This motion for noise for the generators is now opened up to the public. If anyone would like to be heard. Seeing none, I need a motion to close.
Motion.
Second.
By Ms. Mazur and second by Mr. Halko. All in favor?
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Chapter 133 entitled Noise, Section 6 entitled Sound Level Limits Exemptions to include home generators does now pass on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Mazur. Second. Second by Mr. Camilleri. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes. Motion 1544-13.
An ordinance amending Chapter 206 entitled Zoning, Section 34 entitled Projections and Encroachments to include home generators for a second reading.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Mazur, second by Mr. Halko. All in favor? Or roll call?
Councilman Simaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halko?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
An ordinance amending Chapter 206 entitled Zoning, Section 34 entitled Projections and Encroachments to include home generators.
I need a motion open to the public.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Halko.
Second.
Second by Mr. Camilleri. This is open to the public? Oh, all in favor, I'm sorry.
Aye.
We're gonna open up to the public? Open up to the public? Any motion?
Motion to close.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending Chapter 206 entitled Zoning, Section 34 entitled Projections and Encroachments to include home generators is now passed on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
Need a motion, right?
Motion.
Motion, second by Mrs. Mazur. All in favor?
Councilman Simaluka?
Just on this particular issue, actually, these two ordinances about the home generators, based on what happened with Sandy, we had an inordinate number of people obtaining the home generators and thinking that since this may happen, since we seem to get these kind of storms more often, that they're buying these home generators. The previous limit, I think, was 50 decibels. That turned out to be too low because the average decibel rating for these home generators was 70. So what we did was it?
88.
80?
And our ordinance was 50.
And our ordinance was 50.
55.
So what we did was just raised it to accommodate what the actual noise output would be. And in terms of that noise, that's not for running anything other than for emergency situations. Just want to make that clear. It doesn't mean that you're going to have people are going to have home generators on constantly. This increase in the decibel level is limited to emergency use.
Thank you.
Councilman Simaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halko?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes. Okay, 1545-13. Before we untable this, Mr. Mulestock, could you answer Mr. Halko's questions, please?
I'll try.
You'll try. I know, I don't
I'll do
want to
the
put you on the
best I
spot. All right, the first question I had was, if we did take this street over, would we be required to take other streets over in the township in industrial areas like this. And I know,
Not unless they fell within the same facts here. As I understand it, I mean, I'm filling in, obviously, this was a public right-of-way. This has always been a public right-of-way. It was just never formally dedicated. So that distinguishes it from other driveways that wouldn't be, or that were never public rights of way.
okay, and for us to take the street over, it has to meet the municipal requirements,
Absolutely.
correct?
Must.
And if another street or a driveway or entrance didn't meet the requirements, we would not have to take it
That's-
over
that's
because
correct.
it doesn't meet our standards.
That's correct, it must meet the standards.
Okay, and as far as residential condominium complexes, the law is more favorable towards them and
Well,
us having to take it over, the way I understand it?
It is, because there's a law that governs condominium
Or
properties.
townhouses, things like that.
And there are municipal services that have to be provided in the statute by the municipality for condominium projects. So it's a little, let me say it this way, they still have to comply
To the standards.
to the standards. But if they do, you basically, the township basically has to take it or pay for their maintenance and their snow removal. So it becomes probably, in most cases that I've dealt with over the years, it becomes probably cheaper for the town to do it rather than to pay the money.
We did that for Finnegan.
The other question I had, I have a couple. The other question I had was, if we did take that street over, would their tax assessment be reduced by the area of the street due to us taking it over and it be?
No, Brian and I did talk about that today.
Okay.
That was
So-
okay, so that was one of your questions. Now, as I said to the gentleman who came up, the fact that they're now lying on a dedicated public street, improved in accordance with municipal standards, actually, the value goes the other way. It's more valuable to the taxpayer, and therefore their value, and therefore their assessment should be higher.
So
in
their
theory.
assessed value could increase?
It should be at least, it should be at least as high. I wouldn't say necessarily that you would increase commercial properties assessment merely because they're now on a dedicated street. However, if over time, for instance, new tenants came in and started paying, instead of, let's say it's an industrial property, instead of paying $5 per square foot, now they're paying $6 because it's a nicer building on real street, then the assessment would go up.
Okay.
That's how it would work into valuation.
So we wouldn't lose money on it?
I don't know. I think the property would become more valuable. I mean, if I'm a tenant looking for a space, as the mayor said, it's more attractive to be located in a building which is located on an improved public right-of-way. So ultimately, that should translate into a higher value, better rents, higher value.
Okay, my next question was, the property owner next to this property, could they come in and make the same request that we take that area over and continue the street into Sampson Street? And Mr. Chakowski answered some of my question on Tuesday night.
You know, and I don't want to speculate. We didn't discuss that question. I'm sorry. I certainly provide an answer.
The answer he gave me was, again, it would have to meet the requirements of the municipality, and it doesn't.
Well, if it doesn't, you don't have to accept the dedication.
But they couldn't force us
No,
to.
no. It has to, you always have to meet the standards.
of our public roadways.
Okay.
What about Zuckerberg's? Does Zuckerberg's meet that? Because,
They're in turn.
yeah, but there's part of it going down by UPS, I have curb cuts. Does that mean?
I don't.
It would have to meet it from start to finish for us to take
All of
something
our
like that over.
standards. All of the road.
Well, the thing is this, too. It just, because you're doing this doesn't mean you're doing everything. They have to petition. They would have to petition the governing body to want this to start happening. And then from that point, you need to see whether or not it meets the municipal standards. If it
And
doesn't.
when they did petition, you looked it over and they met the standards?
No.
This one?
Mayhill
Mayhill.
Street.
This one was basically reconstructed 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And again, if this goes through, the developer has to put up a bond. You have a 2-year maintenance bond. So if the street falls apart once that dedication takes place, you're gonna have bond.
That's true.
So if it falls
Brian
apart,
Baker.
it's on them to fix it also. They're not just giving you a pig in the poke. It's a street. I mean, they petitioned the governing body to do this, and if you say no, I'm not a mind reader, but I would imagine they're gonna take an action.
Well, Mayor?
Yes.
Rob, while we're talking about this, could you tell us what, if any, actions you took during the construction phase of the Mayhill extension, just so public's aware of that they just didn't do this with,
No,
in the
this-
dark?
Again, I thought I said it earlier when Mr. Ratajczyk was at the podium. They submitted drawings, they submitted plans. Boswell Engineering actually did the plans. Excuse me. Jeff Morris was the engineer assigned to this. We met with him in the field. We met with the contractor in the field. We cleaned all of the sewer pipes that are out there, storm sewer and sanitary sewer, for probably 3 or 4 days. We milled the road down, we repaved the entire street, we cored the street. There's actually core samples of how thick the pavement was in numerous areas. The broken curbs were removed. If you go to the end of it, where, I'll call it the Muscarelli building is, towards the end of the street, there's a curb there that delineates what's the public portion and what is the, what would be the municipal portion of this, if this council acts. Also, as soon as the weather gets better, which I guess in the next few weeks, monuments will be put in, so there'll be a delineation, what is the private property, what is the public portion of the street, and dedicate it and put in the monumentation, so people in the future. Also, what it does is create a public street, not just for the benefit of where the Home Depot is, but also for the other property owner on the corner. You have an office building and a large parking lot. Now they have frontage to this street. You have a...
Do they have a fence there? Or can they get through? Or
We take the fence down. But
eventually they could.
They could take it down, they could build a building in the back. They'd be on a public street. The Golden Pub has access at this point as a through lot to a public street. You have utilities that go through there. If this owner said, we're not letting you in, and he puts up a fence or a gate, you have no rights to even get back in there. That services the hospital. During one of the storms, the line went down, the hospital was out of service, they couldn't get back there. We cleared up all of that, we cleared up the trees back there, we had public service out there. So a lot of work was done, Larry, and again, maybe you don't believe me, but I was personally there. I'm not saying I was there every day, but one of my guys was there probably every day. If you want, I'll certainly give my file to anybody. I'll make copies to whoever wants it, and whoever wants to meet me there, again, you're more than welcome. We made them redo the handicap ramps, their handicap accessibility now. That wasn't there when we got there. And a lot of the sidewalks that were broken were obviously fixed. And again, by A&P, that road coming out of the A&P by the driveway was, what a mess.
All right, I had a couple more questions,
that's what
Steve.
was done there.
The other question I had was regarding the water mains and sewer lines. Who is responsible for those lines? And Brian said the township is responsible. So in the event, if there was a sewer break or a water main break, the town would have to repair that in that area, and
That
put the
is-
street or whatever was dug up back to the way it should be.
That is so, but as Bob
After-
said.
After 2 years.
After 2 years. Because they have a maintenance bond for the 2 years.
So
They're
if
they're
the-
responsible.
No, okay, but if the water main broke today,
It's their,
whose responsibility would it be?
if it's a private main, it's their problem.
But if it's the township's main giving water to that complex in the back there, whose responsibility is it?
If the town takes over the water, it's the town
It would
responsibility.
be ours if it was our main, but if it related to the street and the improvements that they made, they're responsible for 2 years. And they have a bond.
Okay.
See it again, and then if I could just go back into Mayor Dominio's comment with United Water. The 18% is United Water for not just the water usage, but also for their infrastructure. They don't own the infrastructure in this town. So United Water should not be charging 18% if they do get it, if they get the increase. They shouldn't pass that through to Saddlebrook, a full 18%, because they don't maintain the infrastructure here.
And if I
The
may
town
add,
does.
while you're on the 18%, because I have another meeting to go to, but to answer former Mayor Darminio, we did discuss this at the work session, and Pete and I have plans to meet with United Water because of the situation that you pointed out. But this council, myself, and the professionals did discuss this Tuesday. So we're on it. Thank you.
Okay, I just have one question on the Mayhill extension, and just to clarify, permits were taken out on that road when they did the improvements, and
Yes.
inspections were taken care of?
Absolutely. My firm was there, and I'm sure there's billing records accordingly, and we certainly have photos, and we were there.
Okay.
That I can tell you. And
Okay.
again,
So-
I'm sure I did not make the Christmas card list with the owners.
Through the chair, I just have one question to Mr. Ladico.
Sure.
Do you issue building permits or any type of permits for the township?
Do I know? The building, we'd have to check with the building.
But you don't?
No.
So you wouldn't, if the building inspector, construction code official
He
issued
issues
a permit,
permits.
you wouldn't
I wouldn't
have
approve
knowledge that he issued the permit?
No. No,
Unless he came and said, I issued the permit, or you inquired about it, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you.
All right. 1545-13, I need a motion to untable in first reading.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Simaluka. Need a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Halcall. Let's do a roll call.
Councilman Simaluka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Halco.
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri.
Yes.
Council President Conti.
Yes.
An ordinance of the Township of Saddlebrook accepting the street known as Mayhill Street Extension for first reading.
Need a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Mr. Simaluka, Mr. Halcall, second. Let's do a roll call.
Councilman Simaluka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Halco.
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri.
Yes.
Council President Conti.
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that an ordinance of the Township of Saddlebrook accepting the street known as Mayhill Street Extension, heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on the 11th day of April, 2013, at 7:00 p.m., or sooner after, as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Building, 93 Market Street, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Halco, second. by
Second.
Mr. Camilleri. Let's do a roll call.
Councilman Simaluka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazer.
Yes.
Councilman Halco.
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri.
Yes.
Council President Conti.
Yes.
Rich, if I could just comment, if anybody from the public, you're going to have your opportunity to speak at the next meeting regarding the Mayhill Street. So if you have concerns or questions, please come down and state your piece, and we will listen to you.
All right. Ordinance, what's it, 1546?
an ordinance to amend sections 52-4 through 52-8 of the Code of the Township of Saddlebrook regarding certain fees charged by the Township of Saddlebrook and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, for a second reading.
Need a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Mazur,
Second.
second by Mr. Samaluka. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur.
Yes.
Councilman Halco.
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri.
Yes.
Council President Conti.
Yes.
An ordinance to amend section 52-4 through 52-8 of the Code of the Township of Saddlebrook regarding certain fees charged by the Township of Saddlebrook and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, and this is for the renewal of liquor licenses.
Open up to the public. Anybody like to be heard? This is on liquor license. Seeing none.
Motion to close.
Need a motion?
Second.
Second by Ms. Mazur. Okay. All in favor?
All in favor?
All in favor on this?
Close the public.
Aye.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the ordinance entitled, an ordinance to amend section 52-4 through 52-8 of the Code of the Township of Saddlebrook regarding certain fees charged by the Township of Saddlebrook and the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, does now pass on second and final reading, and that the Township Clerk be directed to advertise said ordinance or title thereof in the press, together with the notice of the date of passage of said ordinance according to law.
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
Second by Ms. Mazur. All in favor? Do roll call. Let's do roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yeah, just before I vote, just again for the public, with regard to the increase in fees, we are authorized and allowed by law to raise the fees for liquor licenses a certain percentage every year. We chose to do that in accordance with, to make our liquor license fees in accordance with surrounding towns. So that's why this is on the docket.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
By the way, I voted yes. I didn't, you never asked me.
I had you down.
You had me down as a yes?
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President.
Okay, 1547-13, this is for capital improvements, Veterans Field.
The capital ordinance of the Township of Saddlebrook and the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing the undertaking of barrier-free improvements to Veterans Field in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook, appropriating therefore the sum of $90,000 and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a federal grant and from capital surplus of the Township for first reading.
I need a
motion.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Mr. Samaluka, second by Mr. Halco. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
Be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook that the capital ordinance of the Township of Saddlebrook, County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing the undertaking of barrier-free improvements to Veterans Field in by and for the Township of Saddlebrook, appropriating therefore the sum of $90,000 and providing that such sum also appropriated shall be raised from a federal grant and from capital surplus of the Township heretofore passed on first reading, be further considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on the 11th day of April, 2013, at 7:00 p.m., or soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the Municipal Building, 93 Market Street, and that at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance according to law, with the notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of a time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Motion. Need a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Mazur, second by Mr. Halco.
Rich, I would just like to,
Sure.
after you do roll call, I'll comment.
I was going to comment on this too, but go ahead. Roll call, please.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President
Yes.
Conti?
Okay, Rich, can I just comment? Again, the reason for this ordinance is we received community development money towards Veterans Field, and this, without putting this ordinance in place, we would have to give back that community development money, because the project needs to be started within a year, and this is the purpose of this ordinance, just so that the township is aware.
And through the chair, I think what we're doing is hoping that this year's grant, if we're blessed to get it, would take care of a lot of the additional costs.
Correct.
That was from last year, and we had to
Yeah.
use it within a year.
Yes.
We're applying again this year,
That's correct.
and hopefully that'll
Hopefully
take care
we'll-
of almost everything that we need.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Resolutions, we're gonna pull,
Pulling number 14.
just number 14.
I'm going to request you pull 1 and 2 also.
All items listed with an asterisk are considered routine and non-controversial by the Township Council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member or member so requests it, in which case the item or items will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. The one motion signifies adoption of all resolutions, receive and file letters, correspondence, reports, and approval of minutes and applications. And not part of the consent agenda will be Resolution 1, 2, and 14.
Mr. Ladico, I'm just looking at this. I also request that 9 be pulled.
Okay?
And if I may, Pete, Resolution 25? Is that on there?
Yeah.
Is that on there?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Do it separately at the end.
Fine.
26.
26.
25.
Okay.
Oh, it's 26? I'm sorry, 26.
All right, I need a motion. All right, need a motion
Motion, yeah. Consent.
for the consent.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Halco, second by Mr. Camilleri. All in favor? All in favor on this?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have resolution number 1. To approve and authorize the mayor to sign a professional service agreement with the auditor, Mr. DiMaria.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Halco,
I'll second it.
by Ms. Mazur. All in favor?
Councilman Samaluka?
I will abstain on this only because nothing against DiMaria and DiMaria. I think Frank does an excellent job, a tremendous job. It's just that I had asked for information, and I have not received that information, and I don't feel comfortable voting for that without that information. And that's going to be the same reason when I abstain for number 2.
Roll call, right?
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
Number 2 is to approve and authorize the mayor to sign professional service agreement with bond counsel, Robert McCarthy. And the information is, it's the same as last year. I just spoke to him today.
You need a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Halco,
Second.
second by Mr. Camilleri. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Okay, now that I have that information, I will vote yes.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
Resolution number 9 is to authorize the mayor to sign municipal alliance grant for 2013.
This? I thought it
We
was...
substituted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have no problem with that. In that case, I thought it was the
No,
liquor license.
you
I'm
took that
sorry.
off
I
Tuesday.
apologize.
Councilman, we need a motion.
Need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Mazur, second by Mr. Halco. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes, I just wanted, if, through the chair, if you could just explain what that is, just...
Each year, we apply for a grant. The chief sends it up to us, and we just received it this week. We put in about $3,000 or $4,000 for the municipal alliance grant, and I think it's used for drug education, drug-free schools, CASA, and we received approximately $9,000 from the county.
Yes, I knew, I just wanted the public to be aware of what that was, and I appreciate the chief's efforts and the police department's efforts in obtaining that grant for the township.
So, roll call, please.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
We have resolution number 14 to approve payment of bills for Costa Engineering.
Motion.
I'll second it.
Second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Samaluka?
Abstain for reasons previously provided.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes.
And we have a new resolution that Councilwoman Mazur has for recognizing Women in History Month.
I'd like to read it. Sorry, Rob.
It's not on our agenda.
Now, we just pass it out.
That's right. I got you. It's okay. Just for the public's information, every March is Women in History Month. And I'd like to dedicate this month to all the women in Saddlebrook, because I'm sure they're all equal, they all should get honored for all of the works that they've done. It is countless days, hours that we all put into it. So I'd like to just read this resolution. Whereas New Jersey women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our state in countless recorded and unrecorded ways. Whereas New Jersey women have played and continue to play a critical economical, cultural, and social role in every sphere of life of the state by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside of the home. And whereas New Jersey women have played a unique role throughout the history of the state by providing the majority of the volunteer labor force of the state. And whereas New Jersey women were particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in our state. And whereas New Jersey women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement. And whereas the New Jersey women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and many, many other movements, but especially the peace movement, which create a more fair and just society for all of us. And whereas, despite these contributions, the role of women in history have been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and the study of American history. And whereas since the founding of the township in 1716, women in the township of Saddlebrook have made countless contributions, and each year are recognized by the township of Saddlebrook for their specific contributions made by each honoree. Now therefore be resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Saddlebrook, State of New Jersey, that March 2013 is designated as Women in History Month. Once again, I'd like to thank all the women of our township for all their time and effort that they put into everything that goes into making our township great. Thank you.
Need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Mazur, second.
Second it.
By Mr. Halco. Roll call.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes. Okay, we're going to add one more resolution this evening for the gun control. Woman came in. I need a motion, or Pete do a motion, or read it. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ms. Mazur.
Second.
By Mr. Camilleri. Roll call, please.
Councilman Samaluka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mazur?
Yes.
Councilman Halco?
Yes.
Councilman Camilleri?
Yes.
Council President Conti?
Yes. Okay. Any old business? Oh, report we did. All right, old business? No old business?
I'll wrap everything into council comments.
Okay. New business, and then,
Just on a new business, we did talk about the water rate from Hackensack going up 18%. Pete, you said you were gonna
Mayor and I are going to
make contact at Hackensack and see what since Saddlebrook owns the water system, again, it shouldn't be that 18% increase. And once we find out what it is, we'll do what we need to do.
okay. Any other new comments?
Mr. Chairman, just one, because a question came up earlier about, on the agenda, it said 2012 budget transfers, and I just want to explain that we do budget transfers last 2 months of the year, so that's November and December, and then January, February, March, that's state law. It's a normal sequence in our operating budget to make transfers if needed, and so it is 2012 budget, but we have until March of 2013 to make transfers.
And just a question to Pete. Has other councils prior to us, have they done the same thing?
It's a normal, each year.
Each year, it's normal. Correct. It's normal operating procedure.
Yes, we take from some accounts where it's, might be some overage, and we move it into where during the year we identified accounts that needed additional funding.
Okay. And other councils have done the
Every
same
year.
thing? Okay.
Any other new business? Wait, oh, you're, okay.
Well, I'm just reading, I see the flyer here for, usually, you were going to talk about?
It's okay.
All right, no, I will defer to Ms. Mazur. She's the Easter one.
That's okay, Andrew. I'll yield the
Defer
floor
to
for
me?
you.
Okay. The mayor usually does this kind of stuff, but on Saturday, March 30th, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Senior Center, there will be the Easter Bunny. It's breakfast with the Easter Bunny, an egg hunt and parade. Says here, Easter bonnet parade for the girls, best dressed for the boys, prizes for age categories, birth to 1, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, 6 to 7, and 8 plus. Again, and this is free, correct?
Yes.
There's no admission fee.
There is no fee.
No fee for this. Saturday, March 30th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon at the Senior Center.
And this, it has been posted on our website, it hasn't been posted on the TV yet. I didn't get a chance to do it today, but it will be there tomorrow. And you can look at saddlebrooknj.us if you need further details.
Any other new business? Before I always forget you, Bob, you have anything?
I have nothing to say, nothing to offer.
That's
That's
never-
impossible.
That's
I
all
understand, but
I'm sorry, I
make an exception
apologize for
tonight.
last month because you probably had a list and, hey.
We didn't bring it.
Okay, one more, I have one thing, the Ambulance Corps Annual Fish and Chips Dinner, it's Good Friday, March 29th. Just getting that out there. And, okay. Council comments. I'm sorry? I'm sorry, Flo.
So what? I'm
Do
sorry.
you have any announcements?
Are we going down the line? Is that what it is?
No. Sometimes I overlook, so
Oh, no,
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. I would just like to make a comment, yeah, on the resolution about the gun control, the whatever. It's my opinion, it's my comment. It just defies logic why anyone would be against that. Background checks. I just, can't understand it. In my line of business, childcare, I have to get a background check every 3 years, and all of my staff, and every time I renew. And I believe that it should be just a given. I cannot understand why anyone would. And as a renewal, I mean, I'm not sure if that is also in place when people go for a gun permit. Do they have to renew the gun permit? I mean, and also, I'm scrutinized by a physical exam and a psychological exam. Why shouldn't these people? I can't understand, just defies logic. So I'm glad maybe, we get the ball rolling and we get some more stringent controls in place.
Yeah, one of the main things with the wholesale of the guns is that although the buyer may have to provide information and the seller may have to provide information from a legitimate gun shop, the problem is that there are the resale. When I sell my gun to you and there's no check on you. So that's something that they've got to shore up.
Definitely.
The person-to-person transfer, after you've bought it from a legitimate gun dealer, there's all this backdoor transfer of guns, and that's where a lot of the problems start.
When you register, you get a background check at that time? So say you still have to register at the police department, but they have to do a background check because you do have a weapon, right, or a firearm, right?
I'm not 100% sure of the procedures, but it's different from buying it. You have to do more for a gun store than you would have to if you're buying it from someone in the back of their trunk, or sometimes what they say is at some of these gun shows.
Right.
Happy Easter, everyone, and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Joe, did you want to? All right, a couple of things. I appreciate Mr. Rodriguez coming back in some sick way. I miss him coming here. But I just have to say, as we said during that last campaign, council meeting is a lot of things, but it's not a place to, it's not a debate session. It's also not a quiz where someone bones up on one issue and then comes here and throws it and says, how come you can't answer my question? I don't think that's fair to the people that are up here. In terms of the roadway dedication, a lot of people have talked about that. It's a little different. It's not that we're giving them anything. We're actually taking from them. And from us taking that previously private roadway, which met specifications, and as Rob and I think Steve had talked about, if you meet a qualification, it's not really up to us to say no. If they meet the qualifications, we really have no leg to stand on. In this particular case, what they did was they provided approximately $150,000 in improvements to that roadway. So what do? We got, whatever it is, 500, how much is it, do you know? 500 feet? 500 feet of a street, was it?
Probably less.
A little less. We got, a little stub of a street, and they paid $150,000, paved it in accordance with our engineer specs, curbed it, and gave handicap access ramps to it. In regard to tax appeals and refunds, I know that we had to pass, and I'm not one of these blame the prior administration guys, and I may have even voted for this procedure. So I don't remember, honestly. But I know that we had taken, or the council had taken, a hardline stance on tax appeals in terms of, we're trying everything. Well, it was an experiment and it failed, because what happens is, as Steve had indicated, we had appeals that were pending in court from 2006 and 2007. I believe that currently our approach is we try the ones that need to be tried, and the ones that we can settle need to be settled. Steve is, and not just because he's a colleague, but I know throughout the county and throughout the state, Steve is top-notch. He's one of the best guys there, and I'm very glad that we have him doing this work. With Steve and with Mr. McNerney, who's our appraiser, they come to us, and it usually happens at a work session, and they come and say, this is a case that I think we should try, or this is a case where I think we should settle, and there's a reason for settlement. And sometimes it's amazing how this guy gets a settlement where they're settling for less than our appraiser has appraised the property. Let's say the appraiser, our guy says it's worth $20 million, and somehow they're agreeing to settle for somewhat less than that. So it's, I think that's been beneficial to the town. Yes, we're paying refunds, absolutely, and every other town in New Jersey is paying refunds, but I think the way we're approaching it is valid. And again, it was one approach that was taken, and in my opinion, this is the better approach, and I think we're doing pretty well on that. In terms of the taxes, I just wanted to explain something, because listen, I got a text from my wife. Two people that she works with in town want to know their appraisal went down, so that means their taxes go down. No, it doesn't mean that. Because let's say we need 20, and I'll just throw numbers out. Let's say we need $20 million to run the town. Well, it's based on a rate applied to your appraisals. If your appraisal goes down and you have the same rate, all of a sudden you end up with $50 million, let's say. Well, where's that other $5 million coming from? It's out there. So what'll happen is the actual tax rate will increase with your appraisal. Your appraisal will go down, the tax rate will go up. So generally, most people will not see an increase. Most people will not see a decrease. Most people will stay the same. They always say there's about 10% that go up and 10% that go down, but most people will stay the same. We talked about the water increase before, and we did talk about this on Tuesday night, that what they said in the newspaper, the press release, was that the 18% was to go for infrastructure, and as been discussed, they have no infrastructure here. We own our own water system. So that's immediately, Pete and the mayor set up, or actually made a phone call to United Water, and they got a little shook up, and we will talk to them about that. But believe me, we're not just going to take that standing still. I just want one thing, to deflect what some conspiracy theorists have said about the meeting. Now, I'm putting this here, I just like talking natural instead of talking into this thing. But last month, what happened was there was a power surge. The sound was turned down, and unfortunately never got turned back up. We heard a little bit about that tonight. It seemed like it was starting to do that. It wasn't because we don't want you to hear what we have to say. And certainly for some people to say, well, it's typical Saddlebrook, everyone's trying to keep things from people. Absolutely, that couldn't be the furthest from the truth. And that being said, since we're talking about transparency, since Ms. Zottarelli seems to be very interested in my work schedule and who I work for, let's just get this straight. There was a lawsuit that was instituted by a certain law firm against the mayor and council. I think it was against the Township of Saddlebrook, okay, in which Ms. Zottarelli is the plaintiff. The principals of that particular firm, sometime after that lawsuit was instituted, contacted me, since they were taking over another law firm in Jersey City, New Jersey. And they asked me if I would join them. I checked out my options, and I thought that that was a good career move for me. And now I am one of a number of lawyers in their Jersey City office, and we're taking over a failed law firm. That being said, the same lawyers can't represent Ms. Zottarelli in a lawsuit against the township, since I now am associated with that law firm. And if anyone thinks that I joined the law firm to avoid, to get those people to stop being the lawyers for Ms. Zottarelli, I mean, that's just crazy, because, I mean, I checked the book. There's a hell of a lot of lawyers out there. So it wasn't a move designed to stop this litigation, delay the litigation in any way. It was a career move, and I was asked by them. I didn't ask them. I appreciate the offer, and we're doing very well, thank you. And happy Easter and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Real quick, and on a lighter note, I think Andrew covered an awful lot. I would just like to, on behalf of Saddlebrook Little League, they have their opening day scheduled for April 6th. It's a Saturday. They're having a little parade starting at 11, winding up at Victor Field. The mayor and the council were all invited to attend, and they have a 60th year anniversary, so it's some achievement for that organization. And besides that, everyone have a happy St. Patrick's Day and a happy Easter all.
When
Yes,
does the parade start?
it's supposedly starting on between Dollar General and BP gas station,
on Market
Sampson
Street.
Street. But Sampson, they're
Right,
going to organize,
Sampson, okay.
come out of there, make a right onto Market, take Market to the 5th Street light, make a left, and then a left up.
Okay,
to
this way, if
5th
anybody
Street.
wants to come out and see it,
Yeah,
they know
yeah,
where they
absolutely.
can
Thank you,
sit.
Anthony, yeah.
Sure.
That's all I have.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I just have,
April 7th,
regarding the sound quality, the DPW finished painting this council chamber that same day as our meeting. I get out of work at 4 o'clock. I ran down here, set the camera up, because I wasn't able to prior to that because they were painting in here. Normally I do a sound check. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time. I had to run home, eat, get dressed, and come back to this meeting. And the speakers weren't adjusted, the volume controls underneath here weren't adjusted, there was feedback, we had to switch the amp off, we turned it back on, we played with it during the meeting, and that's the reason for the poor quality. Today you should have excellent quality, and in the future, money permitting, we are going to upgrade this sound equipment in here and get these cameras hopefully this year in the ceiling, so we don't have to set this up, and we're not, there's no time constraints to taping a meeting. We just need someone to do the taping. So that's all I have. Happy St. Patrick's Day, happy Easter, Passover, and enjoy the spring. Hopefully it'll be here soon.
No, I just have one question. Talk about tax appeals. You said earlier that we had tax appeals from 2006, from the past administration. Before we took over, how many tax appeals were there?
As I walked into the job a year ago, how many?
Yes.
65, approximately.
And that was back from 2006, correct? And to
Those were few, not a lot, but
Yeah.
a few from 6, few from 7, several from 8, more from 9, a lot from 10, and a lot from 11 and 12 when I took over. Probably 65 total tax appeals. I'm talking about taxpayer,
Correct.
not years, because
Right.
each has
Correct.
multiple years.
Correct.
And I would say today, we have, this governing body has gotten settled or withdrawn or dismissed, probably 40 of them in a year, little over a year and a half.
Very good. Now, my next question is, most of the big tax appeals are done?
Absolutely, most of the big ones are done.
Okay. And that's good,
Yeah,
so.
we have a lot of minor, still from 11, new filings, not from 8, 9, 10, but new filings that are just coming up on the calendar in the tax code from 11 and last year from 12. That normal.
But not big
But
ones?
no, your big ones are basically done, will be handled by your tax refund bonding, which we're in the process of now. And hopefully with the reassessment, everything will be stabilized. And we won't see a lot of.
Right, because it's balanced, correct?
Trying.
From residence to commercial, it's.
Well, the theory on a reassessment or revaluation is that all properties in the municipality are brought to current market value. What would your property sell for as of October 1, 2012? That's the date that the 2013 assessments are established as of. What would your property sell for? And that should be at or about your assessment. And all the properties in the township have been reviewed and reassessed to get to that market value. So hopefully the township won't have a lot of appeals coming up this year.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Not to mix politics and religion, but congratulations and God's blessings to our new Pope, Pope Francis.
Any other council comments?
Steve, I just have one question. I know we talked about this before. Is it in the town's best interest to fight every tax appeal? I mean, in your opinion.
No. You have to take, that question has to come in some context. Saddlebrook undertook its last revaluation in the year 2008 for tax year 2009. A lot of the data that was used in the revaluation, which was being done in 2008, was from sales, rentals, other economic indicia, capitalization rates from 2007 and the beginning of 2008. Times were still good. The market was still on a slight rise at that time. No one predicted the recession of 2008. No one. So all the municipalities in Bergen County that revalued their properties in 2008 or 2009 at high values were subject to what happened with the recession, whereby property values on residences countywide, except for some places, went down maybe 20, 25% over the next 3 years. Commercial properties lost, rentals went down 20, 25% in some types of properties. Other types of properties held their value. For instance, apartment buildings held value because as single-family homes lost their values and people couldn't refinance and couldn't buy because of the tightening of the market, people had to rent. So your apartment buildings, for instance, were not subject to the same depression as your other types of properties. Primarily office buildings, which when we all have our office, in office buildings, you know that you're not paying the same rent that you paid when you signed your lease back in 2005 or 6. That's what determines value in the tax court. So the short of giving that, overview, every case has to be, in my opinion, looked at and analyzed as it comes in. And we make it, and I work with Mr. McNerney, we make an initial determination, is this a case that we're going to fight because it's winnable, or at least debatable, or should we look for an early settlement because we know, having done a million other cases of the same type, we know we're going to lose. And it's a matter of damage control. Instead of, I think as Mr. Simaluka said earlier, instead of the taxpayers always get appraisals that are way below what we think the property is worth. Okay, sometimes in my letters to you, I share that with you when I say, here's the taxpayer's position and I know it's inconceivable to everyone here that two appraisers, one for the taxpayer and one for the township, could be so far apart. But believe me, that's what happens. You could have an industrial building and the taxpayer's appraiser says, this is worth $15 million. And we believe it's worth $25 million. Now, the truth is most times, like everything else, somewhere between the two numbers. So, but we try to, I don't believe it's proper practice to let cases fester. Because the more years, as I told the gentleman who asked earlier, the more years that you have in front of you at the end, the higher amount is your refund. So if I can handle a case in the first year, for instance, for, let's just say they're entitled to $10,000, why would I let that go on, or why would you let it go on for 4 or 5 years, and now all of a sudden you have to pay them 50 or 60? It becomes a big number. Deal with it is the way I believe they should be handled now. Some municipalities, frankly, none that, thank God, none that I'm the attorney in, push it off. Let the next council deal with it. I'm not going to sit here and vote to give back money to that commercial taxpayer. Let's just push it off and let the next council deal with it. To me, that's not the way to handle it. Because in the end, you have to deal with it sometime, and you have to come up with the money sometime. Now, I'm talking about in this marketplace, in this, marketplace which has gone down and now maybe leveling off at this point through 12 and 13. But the 3 years before, 9, 10, and 11, and half of 12 were, everyone knows, poor years for real estate. I represented municipalities from 2002 to 2007 where there were no tax appeals. Why? Because the market was on the increase and everyone was real happy that their property values were going up. Their investments were great, and no one challenged assessments.
Because they were low. Yeah.
Now, for these years, 10, 11, 12, which we're still dealing with, I think every commercial property owner in Bergen County has an appeal filed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with council comments? Nope. I need a motion to adjourn. Motion by Ms. Mazur.
Second.
Second by Mr. Halpo. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.